The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good Friday morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN, 8:30 a.m. Friday morning, 60 minutes to go until the opening bell. We got markets pulling back a bit. Quite a trading day. Yesterday, we had charging higher towards the end of the day. This morning, markets pulling back a bit. We get the S&Ps right now, negative 31 points, trading at 28.15. NASDAQ, negative 133, trading at 89.49. Got the Dow off 183, trading 23,351. Let's start it off with the S&P. Lows yesterday, things looking pretty bleak. We were at about 10 a.m. in the morning. Let me get my crosshairs up here. 10 a.m. in the morning yesterday, we reach a low of 27.60. Talk about a charge higher. You charge almost 100 S&P points by the end of the day. We reach a price level of 28.53. We climb above 28.60 as about 4 a.m. this morning. I wake up, things look promising. The S&Ps are at 28.50 as of 6 a.m. But guess what, folks? Things can change quickly, especially in this market, as we now have the S&Ps approaching 40 points off of the level of 28.50, and you can see where we're back to 28.12. Things dropping quickly. We just got retail sales in the month of April. Staggering number, as you can expect, but worse than the market was even looking for. There's your headline number. Retail sales plunging a record 16.4% in April. The market was only looking for a 12.3% drop. I had mentioned yesterday, right? We got weekly jobless claims yesterday. The number came in at about 2.981 million, I believe, was the weekly jobless claims. The expectation was for about 2.7 million. I made the offhand comment, not that far off, right? 300,000 jobs in the grand scheme of losing 36 million somewhat jobs in the last 7 or 8 weeks. This number, though, that's a decent miss, folks. 16.5% in April, 12.3 was the expected mark. There you see a slight reaction. Markets near session lows with the S&P trading at about 28.12. We've got the gold contract this morning up about $6 at 17.46. Oil catching a bid, almost made it to $30 for oil. Quite a far cry from negative prices. To start things off, we'll jump over to the charts. We'll start it off with the Dow. The Dow, 23,273. The highs made overnight about 400 points higher from where we're trading at right now, 23,282. NASDAQ 100 falling out of bed as well. We were up to 91.37. We're now almost 200 points below that price level, trading 89.49. There's your S&P 500 we covered, up to 28.60, back down to about 28.15. Crude oil, as I mentioned, we were climbing. I mean, not technically almost 30, but we're within $1.29 of $30. Been quite a week for crude. You back things up for some context. There's last Thursday's action. Here is Thursday into Friday. We opened the trading week at around $24, and looks like we're going to finish the week at around $28. Gold contract catching a bid on that retail sales number, trading higher as well. You now have gold above $17.50, and the euro-US dollar trading at 108.03. In terms of what else you have happening in the market, U.S.-China tensions as Huawei, they're going to be cut off from global chip suppliers. The Trump administration moving to block shipments of semiconductors to Huawei technologies from global chip makers. The U.S. Department of Commerce, the U.S. Commerce Department, I should say, said it was amending an export rule to strategically target Huawei's acquisition of semiconductors that are a direct product of certain U.S. software and technology. The rule change is a blow to Huawei as well as Taiwan Semiconductor, a major producer of chips for Huawei's high silicon unit as well as mobile phones. So tensions escalating, folks, between the U.S. and China. Not what you want to see as the market's struggling by itself, and that's going to be sprinkled on top of everything else going on in this market. In terms of stocks making moves this morning, jumping around, and there's the big headline there. You got QCOM, Cisco, Apple, Boeing. Reports out of China suggest that retaliation against these and other U.S. companies could come if the U.S. goes ahead with that plan I just discussed to block chip shipments to China's Huawei. Let's just jump around to some of those chip stocks this morning, see where we're shaking out. QCOM, whoops, not WCOM, QCOM, not WorldCom. Not WorldCom, QCOM. There you see it, folks. From $80 down to about 75. These are all going to get hit this morning as you put them on your radar. Cisco shares from 44.58 yesterday down to about 42.40. Apple shares from 311 down to 300. Talk about a drop off in no time. What do they list? Boeing up there from 124 to 118. Intel shares from about 59.50 down to 57. AMD shares from 55 to 53. That's reverberating all over the place there. JD.com, the China-based e-commerce retailer, beat estimates by a wide margin on both the top and bottom lines for the latest quarter. Annual active customer accounts up almost 25% from a year ago. Mobile active daily users up 46%. Quite a number, right? JD.com, check out that acceleration from about 49 yesterday up to 51. For some context on the volatility of this stock, I mean, not too bad, right? I mean, you look at where we were, talk about some volatility in the months of February, March, but we're making all-time highs recently in JD, and let's just make sure we are at all-time highs. 50.68 going back as far as we can see, and we're going to open this morning with a 51 bid on JD.com. DraftKings, with their numbers, the sports betting company posted a larger than expected quarterly loss, revenue growing 30% from a year ago, despite the COVID pandemic shutting down sports events. The company does not expect a virus-related impact on its longer-term projections. That's a remarkable number when you think about DraftKings, how big they've been for a year or two, kind of synonymous if you're in the sports world to understand who they are, and they're growing revenue by 30% year over year with the sports world shut down. DKNG is their symbol, and they were in the news earlier this week. Yeah, they don't have a very big chart considering they just kind of went public. There's your action on their news. We closed at 25.31. Looks like we're going to open pretty much in the ballpark. You had some news earlier this week talking about, I believe it was Soros with a pretty big position in DraftKings, getting into that online gambling forte. Yeah, I'm not sure what they are betting on. Maybe there's some flip cup tournaments on ESPN, the Deuce, or Beanbag Championships or something like that. They would allow betting on. But I have kid. I mean, dog racing is back in action, I know, in St. Petersburg. So there is gambling of some sorts. Not sure what they're pulling that revenue on, but a big number to post that revenue with what's going on right now. VF, the maker of North Face and Vans, earned an adjusted 10 cents a share for the latest quarter, 4 cents below estimates. Revenue missing as well. VF said it sees current quarter revenue falling a little more than 50% this quarter. It does intend to continue paying the dividend, though. Let's see if the market likes that. Whoops, moving around. VF is their symbol. Got to like when a company keeps the dividend, right? No, what is their symbol? Yes, they are. VF, yeah. VF Corp, correct, right? We'll jump over here. Yeah, VFC. There we go. Somebody got to tell them. There we go. There's some action. Talk about a day yesterday from 50 up to 55. Back down this morning. Right now, the bid ask 52.41 by 53. So we wrap up this first segment, taking a look at the VIX. Been quite a volatile few days for that volatility index. From 26 up to almost 40, down to below 32 overnight, and we're looking to open back at about 35 right now. Interesting day. Friday, it's options expiration as well, folks. S&P is negative 32, NASDAQ negative 131, Dow off 240 in the futures markets. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back. Larry Pesavento is hosting a special event Thursday, May 21st from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Trade What You See, a live trading event. For the first time in over 10 years, Larry will host a live event where you'll watch over his shoulder as he trades the markets live. You'll see how he organizes his trading day, the times most likely to generate a signal, what outside information he ignores, and more importantly, what he does not ignore, and much more. Larry will trade the markets in real time, including the Euro US dollar, pound dollar, dollar yen, the Dow and E-mini S&P, crude oil, gold, treasury bonds, wheat, and soybeans, and more. When you sign up, you get a month of his daily newsletter, Fibonacci 24/7 included. For all the details on Larry Pezzavento's live trading event on Thursday, May 21st, and to sign up today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
The gold market has taken off topside in a large way in 2020. If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report took profits in 4 of its equities in the gold portfolio in the first week of January for a combined profit of 99.2%, with 2 positions left in the portfolio that have a profit of 67.5% as of January 7th. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. S&P is negative by 30, NASDAQ negative 126. Jumping back into stories of the day and headlines, you got AMAT out with their numbers, expects to recoup sales lost to pandemic in the second half of the year. To get into the material that they're talking about here, revenue from semiconductor systems, which supplies gear to chip makers, jumped 18% to $2.57 billion in the second quarter. Sales from the unit would have been nearly $650 million higher in the absence of the pandemic constraints. We hope to recover this revenue in Q3 and Q4. AMAT shares this morning, talk about some volatility. There's your action, all the way up to 57 last night on their earnings, but guess what? That was short-lived. 57 down to 53. Now, of course, you have Huawei factoring into this. Maybe it wouldn't be hit as hard if you weren't having U.S. and China squaring off. But nonetheless, AMAT shares basically going to open negative after being all the way up to above 57 at one point. Other stories out there, Office Depot plans store closures, 13,100 job cuts by 2023. The U.S. office supply retailer looking to curb costs and focus on its IT services business unit. So 13,000 plus jobs. The company expects the restructuring to yield up to $860 million in net savings by 2023 and incur charges of up to $543 million. Earlier this month, the retailer withdrew its 2020 guidance. This stock just trading almost at pennies, folks. $1.85 yesterday. We're sitting at about $2.10 right now. For some context, we were at $2.80 before this run began. We were at $1.23. You go back to basically last September, and some longer term context. I mean, just been struggling, ticking around at $1 or $2 for a while for Office Depot, Office Max, the two of those companies combining. So Aurora Cannabis, the cannabis companies out with their earnings at the beginning of it. Aurora out with their numbers, smaller sequential loss as pot use rises amid lockdown. Aurora Cannabis posted a smaller loss compared with the prior quarter as customers in the U.S. and Canada stockpiled cannabis ahead of lockdowns. The company said it was on track to be profitable in the next fiscal year and doubled down on its plans to keep capital expenditure below $100 million in the second half of the year. The market liking this, folks. Wait till we jump over to this chart. You will see smaller loss compared with the prior quarter as customers in the U.S. and Canada stockpiled, sending its shares up 13% after the bell yesterday. We're holding on to some of those gains. They sold 12,700 kilograms of cannabis. I believe a kilo is 2.2 pounds. So multiply that number times 2.2. You're talking about, what, 27,000 pounds of cannabis, 39% more than a year earlier. The sales spike comes as cannabis is an essential service in several provinces and states across Canada and the U.S., as is alcohol as well. The company said it was on track to be profitable next fiscal year, doubled down on its plans to keep those capital expenditures below $100 million. Aurora said it expected capital spending in the first quarter of fiscal 2021 to be lower than the third and fourth quarters of 2020. So maybe winding it down as they plow through some capital expenditures right now to grow. Whoops, I just tabbed up there. The Edmonton, Alberta-based company said adjusted loss before interest, tax, depreciation, amortization fell to $36.1 million for the third quarter, and in March from 80 million Canadian a year ago. To jump over to their shares, ACB is Aurora. You can't see it on this chart because whoa, oh, whoa, have the cannabis stocks had some volatility, folks. I mean, this is where you just got to be careful jumping on a bandwagon, folks, as the whole world thought it was going to be easy money to come from the cannabis stocks. But this morning, quite a run from $5.30 yesterday up to $8.64 this morning right now with a bid of $8.62 by $8.64. Remarkable pop for them. The market liking. They're losing less. They're not going to be spending money on cannabis as much. Jumping over to some of the other cannabis stocks on that news, you have Canopy Growth trading from $13.86 to $14.39. We were at $12.95 yesterday. Tilray shares up a bit at $7.44, but for some context, folks, these have been hit hard, and they have a long way to go in terms of regulation. I mean, you back it up for the year for Canopy for $46.97. You put it on a 3-year for these stocks. My goodness, right? From 59 back down to 13. You were at $4.90, let alone some of the real high flyers, Tilray. 300. Anybody want to buy Tilray at 300 as it's sitting at $7 and it just hit $2.43? Be wary, folks. Find a company that you know is going to be around because boy, oh boy, that is a rise and fall that we don't see the likes of very often. Jumping back to other stocks with stories out there. Nike says virus is having a quote-unquote material impact on its business. Not surprising. As stores in the U.S. start to reopen, Nike said it started reopening stores in more than 15 countries, including Germany, France, Netherlands, Brazil, and the U.S. 40% of its own stores in the EMEA region, 15% in its APLA region, and 5% in North America are open, some with reduced hours. The athletic apparel footmaker said all of its own stores and more than 95% of its partner stores in Greater China and South Korea are back up and running. Nike had been hit hard early on in this as they have more exposure to China than most do. We were at 105. You see the real escalation January 20th, right? You get a little bit of a scare. You trade down to 95. Things seem to be okay. You're back up to 103, and then the market falls apart down to $60 for Nike. We're going to open off a bit with the market this morning with Nike shares at about 85.12. Other stories out there in terms of stocks making moves. So we covered AMAT, we covered Office Depot, Nike. We had Aurora in there as well. Denny's reported better than expected quarterly earnings. Not bad, right? Denny's, even as the restaurant chain's revenue tumbled 36%, Denny's streamlined its menu as the pandemic spread and emphasized curbside delivery and shareable family-sized meals. Remarkable that they can turn a profit, drop your revenue by 30%, but when all you have, right, is a kitchen staff in there. A lot of their servers probably hit hard, nobody in there, but the company itself trimmed the menu, trim the costs and delivered profit. I mean, a remarkable statement. Let's see where they're trading this morning. There you go. Not surprising. From 786 yesterday, we pop up to 1038 on that news last night. We're paring those gains a bit to 966. On the longer term context, quite the fall off from 22 down to $5 and change. And again, we're going to open just shy of about $10. Now, keep it in mind, I mean, look at this trend. We've been bouncing up at this $10 mark since maybe April 9th almost. We actually made it up there on March 24th. Some volatility there for Denny's. Dillard's posted a smaller than expected loss for the quarter. The retailer announced plans to reopen 116 stores and 5 clearance centers next week as the country begins to reopen. DDS, I believe, is that symbol? Yes. Dillard's, talk about a fall off from 70 to 21. We're going to open higher today, though. We're opening at about $25. There's your pop on that news last night. Dillard's opening at about $24.48. Jumping over to crude, we'll take a look at some of the commodities. We wrap it up. Quite a week for crude. Made it up to above $29. Looking at the June contract, $29.01. Currently trading at $28.68 as we come into Friday trading for crude. Gold as well, quite a bit. I mean, check out that pop yesterday, right? Gold, 9:30 a.m. fires from 1724 up to 1745 in a heartbeat, kind of just floating around at that level until we get that 8 a.m. pop from 1740. We're now sitting at about 1751 in the price of gold. What else we have going on, folks? Coming up next, Larry Pesavento, and 6 days from right now, next Thursday, Larry's going to be in there. A live trading event. Trade what you see, folks. Check it out on the front page of TFNN. Larry will be in there all next Thursday, the Thursday before the long weekend. Great day to ring it in. Trading live. Larry hasn't done something like that in about 10 years. Check it out, folks, on the front page of TFNN.com. We'll be right back.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get the competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. Today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. 35 minutes to go until the opening bell on Friday. Options expiration Friday at that. Should be an interesting day shaping up in the markets. We just got that retail sales number, of course, 16.4% decline in the month of April. Pretty staggering numbers, but not too surprising. Germany out with their numbers, plunging into a recession with biggest slump in a decade. Europe's largest economy on track for 6.5% contraction in 2020. The German economy shrank 2.2% in the first quarter, the most in more than a decade, offering an early flavor of the damage from the coronavirus outbreak. For some context, there's your growth numbers on Germany, and you're going all the way back to 2009, which should make sense to see that kind of decimation that's happening to the German economy, decreasing 2.2% for that quarter out with their data. Interesting to see what shapes out in terms of on Capitol Hill. Pelosi lays down marker in coronavirus bill vote amid doubts. So you got Democrats out there putting out the second round of a stimulus bill. This one, Republicans not biting yet in terms of not interested. You have McConnell out there saying that he wants to wait, see how things push along. They're going to talk about $3 trillion with more payments going to states, more payments going to individuals, and extending unemployment insurance. We'll see how that plays out. It's a very interesting time, folks, where some things are merging the partisanship of things to play out. We'll see how that plays out for sure. This story, pretty remarkable in terms of the pain that restaurants are seeing. Tom was talking about this on his show yesterday, a story from yesterday. I didn't get to cover it in the morning, though. 1/4 of U.S. restaurants may not reopen. Open Table, I use them all the time to book reservations. If you don't, check them out. They're a good reservation company, does it for free. Down 95% reservations on May 13th from the same day a year ago. 95%. Remarkable stuff. And when you talk about the V-shaped return, I mean, just some great articles out here talking about at airports. You want to start flying again? You're going to expect a different environment, folks. You want these airlines to bounce back. How are you going to do it when you got plexiglass, face masks, miles of queues, all that stuff? We'll see what happens. Should be interesting. Stay tuned, folks. Larry Pesavento coming up live at 9 o'clock with Trade What You See. And don't forget, check out his live trading event, folks, 6 days from right now. Sign up. You gain instant access to Fibonacci 24/7. Larry puts out